Hi everyone, it's me, AMARIJAZZ, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the rise and the fall of Rocawear. If you're interested, keep watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications and stick around for more. The birth of Rocawear. In 1999, at the height of Rockefeller Records' dominance, Jay-Z and Damon Dash launched Rocawear, a bold extension of their cultural empire. Already cemented as power players in hip-hop, Jay-Z and Dash recognized that music was only one piece of the lifestyle they represented. Rocawear was born out of a desire to take control of the narrative, to own the look and feel of a generation that was often imitated but rarely included in ownership. Hip-hop had become global and its influence on fashion was undeniable. Yet, most streetwear brands weren't created by the people who made the culture thrive. Rocawear filled that gap, emerging not just as a label but as a symbol. It wasn't just about selling clothes. It was about packaging, identity, status, and authenticity into something you could wear. Hustler brought the business edge, pushing hard to get Rocawear into department stores, magazines, and music videos. Jay-Z, smooth and aspirational, gave the brand cultural credibility and lyrical reinforcement. Together, they created a product that spoke directly to the streets. Baggy jeans, logo tees, velour tracksuits, and fitted caps that reflected the era's aesthetic and ambition. Rocawear's appeal was instant and explosive. It represented more than style. It represented arrival. Wearing Rocawear was a way of saying you were part of the movement. You understood the grind, the flex, the come up. It quickly became the go-to brand for young people who saw themselves in the music, the culture, and the swagger of Rockefeller. By the early 2000s, Rocawear had grown into a multi-million-dollar powerhouse, proving that Black creators could not only participate in fashion, they could own it. The brand expanded into women's wear, kids line, accessories, and international markets, becoming one of the top urban fashion labels in the world. What set Rocawear apart was its authenticity. It wasn't copying street culture, it was born from it. Every stitch, every logo, every campaign was grounded in real life experience. From the Marcy's projects to Madison Avenue, Rocawear told a story of transformation. From corner to corporate, from local to global, it gave voice to those who have been overlooked by traditional fashion and proved that style could be a form of power. Even as trends changed and the market evolved, Rocawear's impact remained. It helped define the look of an era and opened doors for future collaborations between hip-hop and fashion. Rocawear walked so many other brands could run. In an industry that often exploits Black culture for profit, Jay-Z and Dash flipped the script and profited off of their own vision, turning streetwear into high-level business. Rocawear was more than a brand. It was a movement in fabric form. It captured the rhythm of the late 90s and early 2000s. Bold, ambitious, unfiltered, and unstoppable. What began as a fashion extension of Rockefeller Records became a cornerstone of hip-hop history and a blueprint for turning cultural capital into real capital. It wasn't just worn, it was lived. And in that way, Rocawear wasn't just born. In 1999, it was born every time someone chose to wear the hustle. The rise. By the early 2000s, Rocawear had become more than a fashion brand. It was a culture movement. What began in 1999 as a bold extension of Rockefeller Records rapidly grew into a dominant force in streetwear. Rocawear was rooted in the language of the streets. Baggy jeans, oversized logo tees, velour tracksuits, and perfectly curved fitted caps. It captured the attitude of a generation raised on hip-hop, hustle, and ambition. It wasn't about following trends, it set them. The brand spoke directly to the youth who lived and breathed the culture, and in return, they wore it like armor. Rocawear took the raw edge of street fashion and elevated it into something sleek, aspirational, and undeniably cool. Part of Rocawear's meteoric rise came from its undeniable connection to hip-hop royalty. Jay-Z wasn't just the face of the brand. He was its voice, its style, and its living embodiment. Alongside Damon Dash, Jay-Z made sure the brand was represented by artists who had a real influence: Benet Siegel, Memphis Bleek, Foxy Brown, and other Rockefeller affiliates. These weren't models, they were the culture. When you saw them in music videos, interviews, or on stage, they were draped in Rocawear. This wasn't product placement, it was pride. Their fans wanted to look like them, dress like them, and live like them. Rocawear gave them that opportunity. The brand didn't stop at menswear. Rocawear quickly expanded into women's clothing, offering sleek, edgy, and confident pieces that mirrored the energy of female artists in hip-hop. Women's collection blended sporty silhouettes with street glam, embracing curves, bold prints, and vibrant colors. Then came the kids' lines, accessories, headwear, outerwear, and footwear. From backpacks to sneakers, Rocawear became a household name. It was a head-to-toe experience, a brand that could dress you for school, the block, or the club. What made Rocawear different was how quickly it crossed over. While many streetwear brands stayed underground, Rocawear went mainstream without losing its roots. Through savvy marketing, licensing deals, and partnerships, the brand achieved global distribution. Rocawear appeared in department stores, billboards, and fashion editorials. It wasn't just a clothing line, it was a status symbol. The same way a luxury handbag or designer shoe represented wealth in other circles, Rocawear represented achievement, style, and self-made success in the hip-hop community. At its peak, Rocawear was generating hundreds of millions annually. It proved that a brand born in the culture could thrive in the global market without compromising its identity. Rocawear didn't just rise with the wave of hip-hop, it helped shape its visual language. It gave fans a way to wear the music, the mindset, and the movement. It fused fashion with storytelling, giving power to a generation that refused to be ignored. The rise of Rocawear wasn't just about apparel. It was about ownership, image, and influence. It marked the moment when hip-hop didn't just inspire fashion, it became fashion. And Rocawear was at the front of that movement, stitched with confidence, built on hustle, and worn with pride. Cultural impact. Rocawear has long stood as a powerful symbol of success and cultural pride within the Black community. The brand quickly gained credibility and prestige, largely because of Jay-Z's influence and stature in music and business. As the saying went, if Jay-Z wears it, it's legit. The simple truth helped Rocawear transcend beyond just a clothing label. It became a statement of achievement, style, and identity. Rocawear merged fashion with the ethos of hustle, ambition, and urban culture, creating a unique blend that resonated deeply with its audience. Emerging during the urban fashion boom of the late 1990s and early 2000s, Rocawear joined forces with the other iconic brands such as Sean John, Fat Form, and Baby Phat. Together, these labels defined the aesthetic of a generation, combining streetwear roots with luxury aspirations. Rocawear's clothing reflect the lifestyle of hip-hop artists who were not only entertainers, but also entrepreneurs and cultural leaders. The brand's designs were bold, recognizable, and spoke directly to a community that sought representation and empowerment through fashion. More than just clothing, Rocawear helped solidify hip-hop's place in both luxury markets and mainstream fashion. It proved that urban style could be aspirational and commercially successful, breaking barriers that previously kept streetwear separate from high-end fashion. Through Rocawear, Jay-Z and his team paved the way for future collaborations and brands that blur the lines between music, culture, and luxury. The brand's influence endures as a testament to how fashion can be a vehicle for cultural expression, economic empowerment, and the celebration of Black excellence. Signs of decline. In 2004, the partnership between Damon Dash and Jay-Z came to an end, marking a turning point that began to affect Rocawear's trajectory. As the brand navigated this leadership shift, the urban fashion market was becoming increasingly saturated. What was once a pioneering label in hip-hop inspired apparel found itself competing in a crowded space filled with numerous brands vying for the same audience. This saturation diluted Rocawear's uniqueness and made it harder to maintain its previous cultural relevance. Around 2007 and beyond, fashion trends started shifting dramatically. The bold, logo-heavy styles that Rocawear had championed began to give way to more fitted, minimalistic, and skater-inspired streetwear brands. Brands like Supreme, Billionaire Boys Club, and Bape began to dominate the scene, attracting younger buyers with their fresh aesthetics and limited edition drops that curated hype and exclusivity. These brands capitalized on a new generation desire for streetwear that felt more subtle, sophisticated, and connected to skate and pop culture rather than just hip-hop. Rocawear, however, struggled to evolve quickly enough to meet these changing tastes. While it once been synonymous with urban luxury and hip-hop fashion, by the late 2000s, it was increasingly seen as dated or played out by younger consumers. The brand's heavy reliance on logos and earlier style formulas did not resonate with the new wave of streetwear enthusiasts who favored understated designs and limited releases. Without a strong reinvention or timely adaptation, Rocawear's influence waned, and it lost much of its former cultural cachet. This period underscored the importance of agility and innovation in fashion, especially with fast-changing urban markets where trends and consumer preferences evolve rapidly. Sale to Iconix. In 2007, Jay-Z sold the rights to Rocawear to Iconix brand for $204 million, marking a significant shift in the brand's ownership and direction. While Jay-Z remained involved with the branding and creative aspects, control of the company's operations and strategy largely shifted to Iconix. This transition proved challenging as Iconix struggled to maintain Rocawear's original hip-hop credibility, a key element that had propelled the brand to prominence. Without Jay-Z's direct influence and authentic connection to the culture, Rocawear began to lose the edge that made it resonate so deeply with its core audience. Under Iconix management, Rocawear's market positioning changed dramatically. The brand, once seen as a symbol of urban luxury and street style, started to appear in discount stores such as Burlington and other off-price retailers. This move diluted Rocawear's perceived value and eroded its status as a premium luxury brand. As it became more widely available through lower-cost outlets, the brand lost much of the exclusivity and cultural clout that defined its identity. The shift to off-price retail also reflected a broader struggle to adapt to changing consumer tastes with the rise of new streetwear brands with fresh aesthetics. Without a strong and authentic connection to hip-hop culture, Rocawear's appeal waned, particularly among younger consumers who sought brands that felt genuine and current. This period highlighted the challenges of maintaining brand prestige and cultural relevance when ownership and vision became fragmented. Ultimately, while Rocawear remains a recognized name in urban fashion history, its transition under Iconix led to a significant decline in both luxury perception and cultural impact. The fall in current status. Rocawear faded from the spotlight quietly over the years, slipping away without major campaigns, notable collaborations, or any meaningful reinvention to reignite its cultural relevance. Once a trailblazer in urban fashion, the brand failed to maintain its momentum or adapt to rapidly changing fashion landscape. While competitors continuously evolved with fresh designs and strategic partnerships, Rocawear remained stagnant, unable to capture the imagination of new generations or reestablish itself as a trendsetter. Meanwhile, Jay-Z shifted its focus toward other ventures that align more closely with its expanding empire and evolving interests. He invested his energy and resources into Roc Nation, his entertainment and management company, which saw significant growth in high-profile partnerships. Alongside Roc Nation, Jay-Z also forged luxury collaborations with brands like Armani Brignac, Champagne, Pluma, and Monogram, positioning himself firmly with the world of high-end lifestyle and entertainment. These ventures allowed him to cultivate a more refined brand image, distancing his personal brand from the now doormat Rocawear label. Today, Rocawear still exists online, but it operates more like a ghost brand, present but largely invisible. It lacks the hype, energy, and excitement that once made it a staple of urban fashion culture. Without any celebrity endorsements or meaningful Gen Z engagement, Rocawear struggles to connect with the younger audience that now drives streetwear trends and social media buzz. The brand's absence from major campaigns and pop culture movements has left it with little influence, making it more of a legacy name than a living, breathing player in today's fashion scene. In essence, Rocawear's quiet fade highlights the challenges legacy brands face with the fail to innovate or keep pace with cultural shifts. Despite its historic significance, Rocawear now serves as a reminder that past success alone isn't enough to guarantee future relevance. Especially in today's climate, where nostalgia and early 2000s fashion are making a major resurgence. Gen Z and millennials are embracing the Y2K aesthetic, revisiting styles once deemed outdated with its fresh eyes and creative reinterpretation. Brands like Fubu and Sean John have begun tapping into this revival by leaning into their history, cultural roots, and iconic status in hip-hop and streetwear. If Rocawear strategically and creatively imagined without losing its origin story, it can re-enter the fashion conversation with credibility and relevance. A successful reintroduction would require more than just relaunching old styles. Rocawear would need to pair its nostalgic appeal with modern silhouettes, limited drops, and high-quality materials. Collaborations with today's tastemakers, emerging designers, Black creators, and influential artists could help restore cultural credibility and reintegrate the brand into the current streetwear ecosystem. Most importantly, Rocawear must return to its foundation, authentic storytelling and reflect the hustle, pride, and voice of the Black community. By showcasing its history through campaigns and content that tie Jay-Z's legacy to today's visionaries, the brand can remind people why it mattered and why it still does. Consumers today crave meaning behind their purchases. Rocawear's comeback cannot rely on logos alone. It must root itself in the culture that birthed it, while also acknowledging how the culture has evolved. A thoughtfully curated relaunch, fueled by storytelling, authenticity, and purpose, can transform Rocawear from a relic of the past into a revived style of expression, a revived symbol of empowerment. With the right creative direction and cultural alignment, Rocawear has a real shot at writing a new chapter, one that bridges its iconic past with a bold, modern identity that speaks to a new generation. Personal take. The brand gave Black people something they can feel proud to wear. A closeness to the celebrity like Skims with Kim Kardashian, and made them feel involved in the end crap, which is hip hop. The brand to me felt like a popularity contest, one that can only expand as far as Jay-Z's music career, one can't go beyond the other. So when we enter the rise of 2010s, we have the Drake, the Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Kanye West enter the music scene with the creative and unique sound. Also with a new sense of style, it pushed the overly baggy New York 90s tough hardcore rap out the door. Consider you have Black artists like Nicki Minaj annihilating beats talking about being a Harajuku Barbie, Drake rapping and singing, Lil Wayne drifting between the rap rockstar scene and the truck fake skater swag. I think Rocawear lost its connection to the youth, which was its lifeline. And that was my take on the rise and fall of Rocawear. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and stick around for more. Mwah.